Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the passenger seat of my 3 Series. My little sister just got married today. They said their I-do's about 10 minutes ago, and now I am having to rush off after congratulating them to catch a flight. Jay and I are going to fly to Denver to pick up a car. It's going to be a real good time. My wife is here banging the gears in the 3 Series to get me to the airport so that I hopefully catch this flight. I think it boards in 15 minutes. Luckily, this is Wichita. Everything in Wichita is 15 minutes away from each other, so I think we should be good. But I need to perform a clothes changing action here in the front seat. Well, it is 7:36 p.m. We are in Denver, and yeah, we bought an Insight. Well, I didn't. Jay did for his dealership, in theory, but here it is straight from the dealer auction. It has lots of miles, lots of error lights, and we are going to cannonball this thing all the way back to Wichita tonight, hopefully. Now, let's take a quick look here. We got 141,000 miles. We have airbag lights, we have IMA light, we have check engine light. IMA battery is disconnected, though. It has been replaced with a Bumblebee unit in the past, so I'll be very interested to see if my grid charger can get that working again. We have an aftermarket cruise control, and I'll be very interested to see if that works or not. These did not have cruise from the factory. We have a clutch. Clutch actually feels really good. I mean, this has 60,000 miles less than mine. Other than that, this is pretty much just a stock 2000 Honda Insight. It's a little rough here and there. It's seen its share of issues. We're gonna have to do something about that because these are, you don't want to have to replace those. Those things are pricey. I wonder if I can get a peek at the IMA. This is very common. The rear spoiler.
Trunk, is it clean?
Rear spoiler comes out.
Oh wow, it's a dash box.
Yeah, and then underneath here is actually where the spare tire is. I mean, there's really not a lot to say here. It is Honda. 12-volt battery is completely toast, so our first stop is to get a 12-volt battery, fill up the coolant, get some food. Big munch required. Always cool. Rear wiper actually intact, and rear sprayer. The story behind this car is that it was donated to Goodwill or something, and they sent it off to the auction. We actually got a hold of the original owner, or the previous owner, who filled us in on the hybrid battery and its history, and she said that it had an electrical issue where it would sometimes just shut off, and I'm assuming that that is a weak 12 volt. Also, fun fact, you cannot bump start these. We have got to make sure that we don't kill this between here and the parts store.
It's got the Bridgestones.
Oh, it does have the Potenzas. So this has the tire, Potenza RE92, that it just gets the best fuel economy in these cars. And they are a 165/65 R14. These wheels and tires are minuscule.
This lady was an Insight nerd.
Yeah, this lady must have known. I mean, she bought the Bumblebee battery, so sweet. Yeah, the Arrow could use some work, but hey, stuff to fix. All right, let's try very hard not to kill it between here and the parts store.
Yeah.
Because without the IMA battery to power up the computers, you can't bump start it. There's no alternator. The IMA has to be the IMA computers have to be functioning in order to generate power from the hybrid rotor. I think I got all that right. At any rate, off we go. Okay, we've got a new battery installed and tested from the nice folks here at this AutoZone. And everything here looks pretty okay. Let's see if I can get the old flashlight out. That must be the aftermarket cruise control there, wrapping all around under the throttle and stuff. Let's see what else we've got. going on here. Catalytic converter still intact. Exhaust all looks pretty great. Steering rack back there. I don't think my car has ABS. That's been a minute since I looked though, but we've got the ABS there. No obvious coolant leaks or anything. Looks like the valve cover gasket was leaking at some point, but not for a while. Intake all stock, all present. Motor mount looks great actually. We've got the heat riser here. Well, yeah, so this intake system is designed to like bring in hot air for efficiency and whatnot. All the IMA wiring, shift bushings, and I can tell you for a fact there's no rust on this car because it's made of aluminum. Kind of excited to spend some time in one of these since mine's been broken for so long, but hopefully that will be changing soon. Okay, so we're getting, well, not starting this out of this right now, and I think I figured out why. I looked at this ground wire here, and I noticed that it's a little, hang on, zoom in. This ground wire from the block to the chassis, pretty haggard. And then I pulled on this other one down here, and it just came apart completely. So we need to come up with a way to fashion some new ground straps. Luckily, we're at a parts store, so that should be possible. Duralast lawn and garden battery cables even are the order of the day here. Getting both of these grounds replaced. Bottom one goes way down onto the transmission crossmember. Top one comes up onto this intake bracket, and then they both go over here onto the unibody. Just a couple 10s, and we're good to go. And just for the heck of it, I took this big intake piece off, which was just one more 10 right here under the engine cover. So I am looking forward to this thing cranking right over and starting as soon as we've got this last ground hooked up, hopefully. Check this real quick. Yeah, the actual battery ground is super solid. Yeah! Look at that! Purring like a kitten. All right, $12 fix and we're good to go get dinner, finally. Oh, look at that, we got headlights and everything. Whoa, it's got silver stars in it. We're gonna be able to see miles down the road. That's amazing. Someone really genuinely cared about this car.
To the point where they donated it for free.
Okay, had a burger at Five Guys, my favorite burger place. And now we gotta give the Insight a drink of water. This is gonna be like our only fill up this whole trip.
I'm in fourth, I have my foot to the floor.
And we're decelerating.
And we are losing speed.
We have absolutely no worries about getting a speeding ticket on this trip. Oh my gosh.
This is a fourth gear trip. It might be a third gear trip. Oh no, we're headed downhill. We're headed downhill. Fourth gear trip.
3,000 RPM.
A little under. There we go, now we're making it back.
Yeah, we just gotta keep that momentum up. Momentum driving at the highway speed. In a straight line. Hey, at least the air conditioning works and stuff.
Wonderful.
Well, it's 9:44 p.m. and we're finally leaving Aurora to head back to Wichita, so what's it gonna...
is 10:45 hours a day.
Oh, right. So it's gonna be like 6 a.m. when we get back?
Yeah.
Tolerable. This is gonna be the longest trip I've ever taken in one of these, so I'm very curious how tolerable of a road trip vehicle this is. Oh my god, it rides so bad. This is gonna be a boring ass video. It's just darkness out there. It's 2:30 in the morning. We've made it somewhere in the middle of western Kansas, and now that we're in the flatlands, we're getting 57.8 average miles per gallon, 276 miles into the trip, and one of our under trays decided that it just hated life very violently and made an absolutely terrible noise. So now we're stopping off at a random Conoco and we're gonna see if we can remedy this somehow. It's gonna be one of the metal ones, so I don't think taking it off is really an option because there's a whole bunch of bolts holding it on. Great, so we're gonna need to find a way to tie it up there. This bit fell down and we can tuck it back up here, but I'm not entirely convinced that'll stay, so I found this random piece of string sitting around. And we'll see if I feed this through here. Another here. Yep. It's so hard to tie because it's stretchy. I don't know. Maybe that'll just provide the additional little tiny bit of reinforcement it needs to keep from scaring the crap out of us again. Other than that brief scare, though, going rather well. And it's a pretty nice night out here, for what that's worth. 65, 70-ish degrees. Pretty pleasant evening, all things considered. So the downside here is that now we've got to accelerate again. We're going to wreck our fuel economy. But we can get an idea of the raw acceleration power of a 1-liter 3-cylinder. 20. And yeah, that's about it. Honestly, this is the first trip I've ever taken in one of these cars that's like, you know, more than just going around Sedgwick County, and pretty tolerable. A radio would go great lengths to improve things. Just listening to the wind noise is a bit much, but honestly, the road and wind noise really not that bad. It's shock. Oh. I was just seeing if that was going to explode or not, honestly. That's got a lot of pressure built up. Hey, we finally made it to the speed limit. How about that? Welcome to the driver's seat. Of course I had to have a go. We're 460 miles into this trip. It's 5 in the morning. We're just north of Wichita, so I'm just gonna bring it home real quick. And I can't believe how incredibly tight this car feels. Like, the shifter feels amazing, the steering feels great. It feels so nice on the highway. Like, it doesn't feel like an old beater. It definitely doesn't feel like a 20-year-old economy car by any means. It's insane how much you can feel every dollar of the ridiculous amount of R&D that Honda poured into this thing. According to the dash, we've gotten 55.2 miles per gallon. We have yet to fill up. I think we're definitely at this point going to do this whole trip on 1 tank of gas, which is dope. And we'll hit a gas station and fill up just so that we can see. And really, without the IMA assist, this isn't as bad as I was expecting, although I am kind of struggling to maintain 75 miles an hour. Like, my foot is hard on the floor right now. Okay, 75. Still 76, there we go. Yeah, so acceleration leaves a bit to be desired. But there's no shakes, no real rattles to speak of, no vibrations. The rear shocks are completely trash. But other than that, it has the most amazing Carfax I've ever seen, because this thing was just maintained at a dealership and everything was written down. Gosh, I need to get mine going. Well, we're in Wichita after 515 miles at one of our premier gas acquisition establishments. Gauge says 54.7 miles per gallon over 515 miles. We're down to 2 bars on the gas gauge. Put some gas in it. I'm very, very curious what this car actually got. But what a trooper, though. Honestly, this thing drives amazing. I can't wait. Oh, yep, that helps. There it is. There we go. Pop the gas thing. I can't wait to see what this thing does once the IMA system is working properly and it doesn't have to struggle quite so much up hills. That was sort of the idea behind this particular hybrid system, was make the car deliberately underpowered for 10% of the usage and take up that 10% with the hybrid battery. So the power is adequate 90% of the time, but for those edge cases you have the hybrid battery to take it up, and then it gets charged from your braking, so you're just you're getting back that normally wasted energy. Like I mentioned earlier, this thing has had a replacement battery from, I believe, Bumblebee, and after that battery was like a year or 2 years old, whatever, like shortly after the warranty went out, it started throwing an IMA light, so they unhooked the computer. So hopefully that means that the battery isn't really too bad, since it was unhooked shortly after it started throwing a light. And a couple cycles on the charger might bring this thing back to life, just like Evanescence. Okay, what's the math looking like?
55, 70.
50? Wow, it actually got better than the FCD said. Holy crap, what a car. Okay, just 2 miles left. For me, at least. Yeah. Well, I'm very happy to report that the car did not break down in the last 3 miles to my house. And so I'm gonna unload my stuff, and Jay's gonna head home with his new car. And maybe later we'll get the grid charger on this thing. Hopefully I'll get the battery back in my car, and we'll have awesome, super happy hybrid fun times. But in the meantime, thanks for watching.